Well, again, this is Pastor Jerry and from the Abilene campus, and as we continue our devotions during this Advent season, I get to talk about one of the characters that we have in the Christmas story, or what we call the Christmas story. Now, several years back, I had the folks at church. I asked them if you could choose what character you would be for the Christmas story, which one would you choose? And of course, people, chose Mary or Joseph or the shepherds or the angels or the wise men or somebody like that. And the one that people weren't really, jumping on was the innkeeper. And that's what I want to talk about today, the innkeeper. Now, I don't have a lot of information. There's nothing really said in the scripture about the innkeeper. But so if I look in Luke chapter 2, beginning in verse 4, it says, "So Joseph also went up from the town of Nazareth in Galilee to Judea, to Bethlehem, the town of David, because he belonged to the house and line of David. He went there to register with Mary, who was pledged to be married to him, and was expecting a child. While they were there, the time came for the baby to be born, and she gave birth to her firstborn, a son. She wrapped him in cloths and placed him in the manger, because there was no room for them in the inn." All we know about the innkeeper is there was no room in the inn. We don't have any details of the kind of person they were. Again, just the inn was full. And I can imagine kind of how that happens, how that transpired. Mary and Joseph were traveling and going to rest her for the census, and Mary, weary from the journey and expecting a child at any time, and they come to the inn and they knock on the door. And the innkeeper calls out, "There's no room, we're full up, there's no room here." But the knocking continues. And so the innkeeper calls out, "I tell you, there's no room here. We're full up, go away. Don't you understand? No room here." And the knocking continues. And then finally, I can imagine the innkeeper, annoyed, he flings open the door and loudly says, "There's no room here. Don't you understand? No room. Now go away." And then there's a look of puzzlement, because he says, What? Your wife is pregnant and the baby's due at any time? What's that to me? I can't help you." And he begins to close the door on the inn. But he stops. And he opens it back up. "Wait, there is room. Not here in the inn. But there's room out in the barn. It'll get you out of the night air. It'll get you out of the elements. And there's plenty of room out there as far as you can have hay to make a bed and make your wife as comfortable as possible. And it'll keep you safe. I'll make some room for you." So my question is, what about you? Do you have room in your life for Jesus? Or are you all full up? We fill our life with so many things. We get in a hurry. And we have family activities, we have school activities, we have work, and we have running from here to there, and life rushes on, and we don't have any time for ourselves so often. And so making time for Jesus gets real difficult. And we'll even, maybe we don't say this, but we really tell Jesus in our actions, "You know what, Lord, I'll give you an hour on Sunday, and you're going to have to be satisfied with that. I'll make it to church for an hour on Sunday. I can give you that hour and be satisfied with that." And then we kind of think about it. Maybe we don't tell the Lord, but say, "Well, you know what, Lord, if you want more, well, you know what? I have so much going on that I don't have time to give you more. In fact, if you're not satisfied with that hour, I can fill it up with other things in life. I can fill it up with other stuff." And by our attitudes and by our actions, we are like the innkeeper and say, "No room here. I'm full up." But the innkeeper did make room. And the question will be, will you make room? One of my favorite verses in the book of Revelation is Revelation 3:20. And the translation that I have, that's why I'm using this Bible, is the NIV. Revelation 3:20 says, "Here I am. I stand at the door and knock. If anyone hears my voice and opens the door, I will come in and eat with him, and he with me." And so, are you going to open the door? Are you going to invite him in? Are you going to make sure that you take the time and make the time for Jesus? Make room for him in your life.